Hey guys, this is Luke from Make Masking Optional. I'm here with Chad Nelson, Zone 4 trustee candidate for Billings Public Schools. You're not going to want to miss this interview. Hey everybody, this is Luke, and I'm here with Brooke, and we've got Chad Nelson here. I'm from Make Masking Optional. Chad Nelson is your candidate for Zone 4 for Billings Public Schools Board of Trustees. Thanks for coming tonight, Chad.
Well, thanks for the invite.
So we just wanted to take a few minutes and just kind of get to know you a little bit better and let the voters kind of hear your thoughts on some of the issues that may be buzzing around the city.
Okay, I am going to ask you a question that really is at the heart of some teachers' concerns. There's been rumors swirling around that you and other candidates that are coming up that want to micromanage teachers' curriculum day to day, where you want them to turn lesson plans in for every single day. You want all of them to be teaching the same thing at the same time, adding cameras in the classroom. Is that anything close to what you're thinking about for school?
I think that sounds terrible. If I was a teacher, there's no way I'd want that. If people come on stand over my shoulder when I'm trying to write an insurance policy, no way. Let me present it, and see how the results are. Someone asked me that a while back, and I said, no, I hate that idea. I'm totally against 1984. I don't want, Big Brother watching. I'm sick of my phone telling me what I'm supposed to buy. I'm sick of knowing that my car knows where I'm at. I don't want any of that. And I would think that teachers would hate that too. What I would encourage is parents to engage. Right. I always had luck because my wife and I would go in and we'd meet the teachers. And my daughter even said all the time, she goes, Dad, it makes a difference. The teachers know who you are. And COVID was really hard on that because for the last 2 years of my daughter's career, I have no idea who her teachers are. Right. I know one of them because I've rafted with them before, but I have no contact for the last 2 years of high school, and I miss it. So I absolutely wouldn't want that. I do think there's a lot to be said for, books being put out there that, hey, this is the reading program where it's available to parents, where if you want to engage, take a look into them, and then, don't go over. I always hated the idea that people were going right to the principal and blowing up a teacher, right? No, just, I used to ask the principal, hey, I would like to talk to the teacher, but I don't want to upset them. How would you recommend that I engage this?
Yeah.
And most of the time my daughter handled it.
Yeah.
Because she and I talked about it.
Yep.
So I hope that answers your question.
No, I think that's good because, can I just add to it? That as a former teacher myself, I would rather have someone call me, a parent call me, even if they're upset, call me, tell me the concern. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's something that we can talk out, work through it. Was excited to hear from a parent, especially at the high school level, because that's what I taught, just to have that engagement, to give yourself a chance to fix it or work through it, instead of more like go straight to the principal, tattle on the teacher, and then it comes down as more a condemnation instead of a partnering thing between parent and teacher. So I think that's a really good answer.
But like go to the parent-teacher conferences when they're available. Because most of these teachers, at least my experience, and I'm terrible at computer anything, right? So I never utilized their tools that way, but they were very good about saying, hey, here's how you can do this. Here's how you can do this. I think it's there. I just don't think that we've been educated on how to use it. And I would encourage, again, everything on this, get involved.
Right. Good. All right, we're going to shift to our first topic, which is community relations. And being someone who has strongly opposed the mask mandates for the past year and a half or whatever it's been, I've heard a lot of criticism, backlash from the community, from people in the community. And one of the things that comes up often is that people say that the candidates who are running, the 4 candidates who I've endorsed, that Make Masking Optionals endorsed, are anti-education. Would you consider yourself to be anti-education?
No, no, not at all. I wanted to be a teacher. I have a lot of family that did. I didn't do that because I got greedy. I guess I wanted to sell stuff. But I think it would have been a rewarding lifestyle for me. I think I would have liked it. I'm not sure I had the patience for it. We homeschooled our daughter for a while.
Okay.
And I say we, and very loosely, it was my wife. She did it all. But no, I'm absolutely pro education. I went to college and I didn't utilize my degree. I mean,
Yeah.
but I didn't go in terrible debt either. I get terrified about that level of kids just going in and learn how to go into debt.
Yeah.
And I don't like that part of education. I would like to see things simplified. I'd like to see, I feel like too many times that kids don't actually understand why math works. Right? We become very like cooks. I'm not a good cook, but if I have a good recipe book, I can find the answer and do it. But it doesn't mean I understand, why it tastes good.
Yeah.
And I think it would be wonderful if we could figure out a way to make it so kids actually felt confident in math. That, I understand now why this works. Things like that. Focus on that more than like what's happening, what we're seeing right now coming in schools across the nation and now in Billings.
Yep.
That terrifies me.
Yeah.
No, I don't want you teaching them religion with my math. I don't want you teaching them, politics with my math. I don't want you teaching them. Just please teach my daughter math.
Right. I think, just my comment back to those people when they make those criticisms to me is I've never seen a group of parents fight so hard for something that they are supposedly anti. If they're anti-education, why have these parents stood up and fought and faced down the board and stepped up for their kids so hard? It seems kind of to defy the logic of it, but.
Well, I think we're on you said it right there, for the kids. That is what's going on. What you're seeing with this group is a bunch of parents that actually were engaged. And I think for the most part, these were parents that were going to, I wasn't going to school board meetings, but we're going to parent-teacher conferences. We're encouraging their kids, well, here's how you work through a problem. You don't just quit the class. You don't just do this. You approach the teacher. I think most of us, I used to sell stuff to veterinarians, and they asked that, how come you did well at that? I'm like, because none of those veterinarians wanted to be a business owner, right? They wanted to work on puppies and kittens. So talk to them about puppies and kittens, right? None of these, in my opinion, none of these teachers, wanted to do lesson plans and all that stuff. They wanted to help kids. And so we are on the same page there. So these, we have to come back to the common ground, but not letting it be abused. I think with so much of the stuff, they keep telling us it's for the kids, it's for the kids. So more money, more money, more money. And you feel terrible if you oppose more money for kids, but we need to know, how it's being used.
Agreed.
That's good.
Good.
Is it me?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think that you are qualified to serve on the board?
Well, one thing that what we're into right now is that what we see in our current board is it's very diverse. And so apparently qualifications aren't what gets you there.
Right. Yeah. The only qualification currently is that you live in the district for 1 year prior to the election.
Right. Yep. And I have to, even though I don't like that a majority of our board is appointed, I have to thank them for giving up their time where most of us didn't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
And I would like to find ways to look at positives, not just negatives. Yep. But right now, the only thing in common that our board has is that most of them haven't been elected, they were appointed, and they vote exactly unanimously the same on every single controversial issue. It doesn't make sense, right? With an odd number of people, that's designed so you won't have ties. There should be a dissent on something. And I think the system's broken. So how am I qualified? Well, I'm willing. For one. I think it's going to be a thankless job. I think there's going to be some abuse. I think I can take it. My experience in life is, with insurance and officiating sports for 17 years, pretty good at analyzing risk and following rules. I do think most of the time, some of the problems we had here with Mackey Mascon, if they had just stepped back for a minute and said, this is a scary topic. We don't know how to win this one. Whichever way we go, somebody's going to hate us, right? I think if they'd step back for a minute and said, well, let's blame it on the rules. The rules say that we can't take away parental rights. So let's make a suggestion. Let's ask, let's ask, hey, we don't know if this works, but would you please consider doing this?
Yep.
Right. And hey, we understand if you don't want to, right? But would you please consider it?
Yeah.
And then if they had done that, right, they would have allowed for less division.
Mm-hmm.
And we know that they still would have gotten their money, right?
Yep.
Because in what I mentioned earlier, there's in their agenda, they were sitting there nodding and they moved us up in the agenda on 1905. Oh, yeah, we don't want to do this either. Because they knew we weren't going to stick around for 4 hours to listen to the rest of it. And we weren't going to read the whole thing. So we made our pitch, we go home, and then you look down the agenda, they put it right in there in number one example. We're going to force this because this is how we get our money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got reached out to, because I brought that up, I got reached out to by Elsie Artisan and by a senator saying, how did you figure this out? I'm like, well, I just read their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there.
Yeah.
They called me a liar, but it's right there. And I was like, so they don't have to do this to get the money? No, they don't. I said, well, if they're going to force that, then they're actually breaking the law, right? So just deny them the money if they're breaking the law. And guess what? They'll come around. Yeah. They won't break the law because nobody wants to do that.
Right.
So anyway, I what was the original question was qualified?
Yep.
Yeah. I hope so. I'm pretty sure, now hopefully in the future, if we do this right and we encourage people to get involved and we show that it's something to do and that it isn't your career and it's not going to take over your whole life, but it's important. Well, at one point we'll actually maybe have 3 or 4 candidates going at a thing where you actually all of a sudden now you are getting to pick and choose, someone that's really qualified.
Yeah.
But at the moment we've had to fill it with whoever will do it.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that changing. So however they handled this thing, the good news is it caused enough pain that all of a sudden we're seeing some people get involved that weren't, like me.
Yeah.
So that's a positive, so let's keep that going.
I agree. So you kind of hinted at it, but I just kind of want to ask the question. What do you think it communicates to the community when the school board always has a unanimous vote? I've been following this for 2 years now, and I've never seen a dissenting vote in that boardroom. Every single motion has been unanimous. And what message does that send to the community? Is there any value in disagreeing while communicating at public board meetings?
Well, I don't understand that. The reason you have an odd number is to avoid ties.
Yeah.
Right. It gives the ability for a person to dissent. Right. And not just to be devil's advocate, but I mean, hey, I have a problem with this. Recently with these books, I don't know if you're going to ask about that eventually, but these books that came up, they were an easy call in my opinion. All right. And it's a tough call. Nobody wants to be the guy that bans a book.
Right.
Okay, but one person should have at least said, hey, guess what? We can get an edited version of this that doesn't have these 6 pages of child porn.
Mm-hmm.
It's an actually okay novel.
Yeah.
Right. That can be read without this. That should have happened. And it might have happened behind closed doors. Maybe they had a discussion about that, but it sure didn't look like it. Mm-hmm. It sure looked like a couple people came in they were questioning it and they immediately shifted gears.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good way to go. I mean, anytime our government, on TV, when they're unanimous on something, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. There should have been somebody, out there.
Well, I'd say over these last 2 years with some of the votes that have been held, the most contentious topic that I've seen in my lifetime in Billings Public Schools, you would think there'd be at least one dissenting vote, and there hasn't been one. So if you're not going to see one in these last 2 years, if you want more of that same, keep voting the same way that we've voted. So,
yeah, and I just I have no idea what's happening behind the scenes there. I don't know why anybody would be afraid to do it. I mean, I think, and one thing I do think that we might be doing is putting, too much weight on the power of a school board, right? If it was such a powerful position, I think that we would see people really competing for it, and I'm not sure that's the launching pad to become mayor, or anything like this. I don't I don't remember a time in my life where I'm sitting in a room in a restaurant, I'm like, oh my God, that's a school board. I don't know that ever happened, but occasionally, a mayor, like, oh, that's the mayor. Oh, hey,
Yep.
that's the police chief. There's certain positions that seem to have a little clout. I don't think this is it. So I don't know what is causing people to feel that they can't voice it.
Yeah.
And I'm really surprised.
Yeah.
I've never in my life had a time where everybody agreed on anything.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Against human nature.
I think that one joke where it says, well, I could agree with you, but then we both be wrong.
I like that. Okay. So if you were elected, are there any things that you would hope to facilitate in order to encourage the parent partnership you had kind of talked about earlier in education? How do we get parents to partner in education with teachers? Do you have any ideas that the school board could maybe promote or anything?
I'm really, and I hate to say weak on it, but I'm really weak on how these things work in there. I can't imagine everything is so strict. They act like, whoa, you see them like lurch at certain things.
Yep.
And I don't understand that. I don't want it to be, derailed by my commentary, everything that happens. There needs to be some structure there to keep it going. But I'm just kind of surprised at how that works. I don't know what I don't know what's happening there that's holding back this. But I think one of the things, like what you guys are doing here, is if somehow we made it where there was more topics, and we see right now that they have some things that they're interested in pushing, the mill levy.
Mm-hmm.
So all of a sudden you're getting all these live Facebook things, right? Yeah. Well, it clearly works. So why don't we do more of that? I think Lido was going to go do a talk at a coffee shop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, why don't we do more of that? That seems to me works. I think we also need to encourage parents of how easy it is to actually approach teachers. As a kid, you were afraid to approach your teacher.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Desks are bad ideas.
Yeah.
Right? They're a barrier between me and you. A table, we sit and have a cup of coffee and a conversation. A desk, one person has power, one person doesn't. And you're always, I'm going up to ask for something, then I'm going in front of a judge, or I'm going to, whatever. Some person's in power and one person's not. And so I think even from a young age, we're intimidated and don't see them as approachable. Right. And so maybe if we made it where people were able to see better, hey, talk to your teachers.
Yep.
Yep. I think if we encourage people to do that and made it more accessible, that'd be good. Talk to your school board member. I never even tried, to talk to a school board member. And now I find out I have like 3 family members on school boards around Montana. No idea before.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if you I think that's part of it. Trying to make that, accessible. I'm not getting paid $17,000 a month, like one guy that likes to go on the internet all the time, to do those kind of shows, and spend that kind of time. But, maybe that would be a way.
Yeah, it's good. Chad, it's been a pleasure to have you come down and visit with us tonight. Where can people find out more about your campaign and how they can help you out?
Well, hopefully I'll get out there and do some legwork and people will start hearing that way. My website is long and terrible. Chad, 4 schools.wixsite. That's WIXSITE.com/Go Nelson. So hopefully you think that's funny. But so that site has it. It's not like I'm super active and posting up stuff on there, but you can look into it that way. I do have a Facebook page, Chad 4 Schools. You can find it that way. My email, chad4schools@gmail.com. I've really enjoyed having people that have been reaching out. I hope that people feel like I've been responsive, and I enjoy calling them. I enjoy talking to them, hearing what's going on. People have been pretty awesome, pretty supportive. Makes me feel good for making the decision. So, please hit it up.
Well, you guys heard it tonight. Chad Nelson, candidate for Zone 4 for Billings Public Schools Board of Trustees. The elections are coming up May 3rd. You're going to receive your ballots if you're registered to vote in mid-April. They're going to go out via mail. So make sure when you get that ballot that you check Chad Nelson's name. You can go to makemasking.optional.com and /school board and get some more information about the candidates, find out what district you are in, what zone you're in. But tonight, I hope that we made the compelling case for you. Chad Nelson, he's a friend of public education. He's pro education. He's pro parent. He's pro student. He's pro teacher. He is basically pro educational rights, parents' rights, and he doesn't want to micromanage and control the classroom. He just wants everyone to get a good quality education, and I think he'd be a fantastic addition to the school board, and I hope you think that too. So thanks for your time, Chad.
Yeah, thank you.